Hey, what's up, everybody? Shadowmeister here, and today I'm going to be talking about the constant war that is being waged against gamers by pretty much all of society, because anything like a school shooting, or any shootings in general, or robberies, or any murders, they're often blamed on gamers, or anything like negative that happens in the world is basically blamed on gamers. Anything with blood, anything with murder, anything with robbery, right? And today I want to take you guys down the rabbit hole of this whole thing, starting with some modern examples of some people, attacking the video game industry, or, just throwing shade at it or dirt on it. Hopefully it can be an entertaining video. But let's start off with our first contemporary example. There has been a person online going by the name of Journalist Katie on Twitter, saying, in like one of her tweets, she said, "Friendly reminder to you gamers out there," with quotation marks, hashtag feminism, hashtag journalism. And it says, with the attachment, it says, "Dear gamers, you shouldn't be purchasing/playing video games. The chemical that your brain produces when you play video games is the same chemical that your brain produces when you commit murder, otherwise known as adrenaline. Gaming is literally condoning violence by programming you to be addicted to the high you get from it. And eventually, you'll end up committing a crime just to be able to feel that high again. Similarly, video games like GTA normalize murder and theft, making the player numb and morally corrupt." Now that's just plain false, okay, people? When I play video games, I play them to escape reality and not to lose myself, basically, because if I do play video games, it's either for fun or to phase out a little bit, just vibe a little bit, I guess you could say. And I'll tell you now that not every gamer is a violent person, actually. It depends on the type of person you are. If you are normally an aggressive person, well, of course, that's by design. Your character is aggressive, which is not the game's fault. And basically what I'm trying to say is everybody responds to something in a different way. For example, let's talk about the McDonald triad, which is basically used to predict who's going to be a future murderer from their childhood, right? And the triad states that anyone who is completely fine with committing cruel acts to animals has a sign of being a murderer. That's the first sign. And then arson. If you know, arson is basically when you like setting things on fire. And the last one is basically wetting the bed. And some people tell me now, some people feel like, oh, that's actually me, I might be a murderer. No, that's not true. That's just these things that I just listed off are characteristics that have been shared by very demented people. Just because you share the characteristics with that person doesn't mean you are that person. It doesn't mean you will act like that person. So, a serial killer might respond to some controversy or someone going against them in a much more aggressive manner, whereas certain people who their personality is not really that aggressive. They're more talkative people, more debating type people, and that's completely fine. Everybody responds to a situation in their own unique way. However, as I mentioned last video, that my parents didn't really care about the rating systems, and on video games there's a rating system called ESRB in the US, and there's another one for Europe. I think it's called PEGI. And the main problem here is that most people are not really looking at how important these ratings are, as if the rating was useless or didn't provide any sort of benefit to a parent or anyone else reviewing games, then why would they be on the box, right? So that's why the ESRB and PEGI was made, you know, to like show what type of content a game is going to show or feature or anything else, for example. Like maybe in certain movies, like we talked with, like with Adult Swim, they say this content is not suitable for certain types of audiences, like that, you know. It's basically just to make sure that you are aware of the fact that the content you're about to see may not be for you, right? Same thing with the rating system. Parents should be able to tell the difference between a game that's meant for teens and a game that's meant for mature people or 17 plus. So I feel like people like boomers, basically, I hate to use the word or like whatever. I hate saying boomer, but sometimes it just seems that way, alright? Like some boomers, they just, you know, throw shade at the gaming community because they don't really understand it, you know? It's sort of like that saying, like where the fox couldn't reach the grape, therefore he deemed it undesirable or sour, just because he couldn't get it, you know? It's kind of like that thing. They don't get it, so they down talk it because they don't get it. And they don't give it a chance to, you know, like impress them at least. And in general, that's again a very bad mindset to have. Because the mindset here is that if it's different from what I'm used to, then it's bad. You know, it's good to spice up life sometimes. By the way, enough with the life lesson. And for example, another person who's been trying to shut down video games or like, you know, get them banned or whatever you like to say, is a person that goes by the name of Jack Thompson, who has tried to do way more than this like person I first showed you in the video, like that individual. I don't know. If she thinks she's doing a lot, she's doing nothing compared to Jack Thompson. Jack Thompson back in the day was a person who was talking down on all the violent video games, right? When they were first released, like San Andreas, GTA, other games, Far Cry. Far Cry, it's not as controversial as GTA, I would say, but it still got some controversy. In general, I feel like Far Cry games cross the line of controversy just to the point where it generates enough hype for the games, but doesn't really cause any outrage. However, it seems Rockstar doesn't care, you know, they'll just do what they do. And back in the day, Jack Thompson was talking about how it should be banned and how it condones violence. And same thing with Doom 2, you know, like Doom, people are saying it causes violence. You're more likely to shoot up a school, you know, this is what boomers say. But as I said, everybody handles a situation in their own way. Everyone perceives something in a different way, especially mental health. Mental health is something I feel that is completely overlooked in the gaming industry and in every industry in general. Because, you know, a sane-minded person wouldn't play Doom or any other violent video game, then go around and like pick up an M16 and, you know, start shooting people. That's not what a normal person would do. However, someone who, let's just say, is a little bit challenged mentally, not working on every cylinder basically, having problems perceiving what is real and what is not real, or understanding what's serious and not serious, well, maybe if they play these video games, yeah, then, you know, of course they perceive it as reality, so they're like, oh, let me go do it. And that's nothing wrong on them. They are not the wrong ones. The people who have enabled, like, usually they'll have guardians with them, these types of people who, like, have these mental problems. And whoever enables them into getting into violent video games, those types of people, the ones who have mental problems, it's not the mental person's, like, the mentally disabled person's fault. It's just that the guardian or whoever is supposed to watch over them was not doing their job correctly. And certain people do have mental problems, right? But it's not so severe to the point where, you know, they'll do whatever they're told or whatever they see. Like, they won't try and replicate whatever they see, essentially, what I'm trying to say here. And Jack Thompson, I need to get used to saying that name. Jack Thompson essentially used his power as an attorney to make certain laws that would make video games a lot more restricted in their content or outright ban them, I guess. And of course it failed, right? Because according to the government in the US, there is no correlation between violent video games and real life violence, which is true. As I said, to any sane person, they wouldn't go around picking up an assault rifle and shooting people. That's just not right. Because there are moral boundaries that are crossed. However, some people just do it because they're not right in it. Let's just leave it at that. However, I will say that video games definitely need more research as to where their place is within life or whatever, like the psychological effects, even though they may be good or bad, but you can't have a good thing without a bad thing. And I still agree that there should be some research into the place of video games in life and how they affect people. That's just my little theory. Like, in my opinion, too much of anything is bad. Too many hours spent on video games, that's a bad thing. Too many hours, spent on one thing, anything in general, seems to be bad in my opinion. That's why you should diversify your schedule instead of, becoming one of these people who says video games cause violence. Because, as I said, I think these people are starting all this drama now just because they're bored, It's quarantine. They want to get mad at something, just like I said in the Adult Swim video. And, honestly, I don't know what to comment on. Some people are surprising me at how genuinely dumb they have been. And let me draw a comparison here for you guys. This is essentially what every, Jack Thompson and this Katie individual is saying. They're basically saying, if I play Call of Duty, that I could just go into the military training IRL and, ace it. I could go into the Navy SEALs program and ace it no problem, right? That's what their thinking is. So let me ask you, the viewer, now. You'll be seeing some Doom gameplay. Do you think you would be capable of ripping someone's skull in half just like in this gameplay? Or committing such atrocities? No, because video games, what I'll say is the weight of a dead body in a video game is not equal to that of a dead body in real life. And as the saying goes, guns don't kill people, people kill people. The gun is just an instrument to make things easier. But who pulls the trigger? There's a trigger that has to be pulled first. And the gun doesn't pull itself. There's got to be someone operating it. So that's how I feel about the situation. I hope I was not biased in my opinion. Feel free to call out my bias if you find some in the comments section. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll continue to produce more. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.